It's me here with my Creality K1, and a subscriber asked me if I could check with my Flir camera here the uniformity of the heating of the bed on the K1. And so I said okay, and so here I go. I am going to set it. It's right now, it's as we can see 27.5 or so. Not quite uniform across it, but that's probably just because of the positioning of the electronics, or who knows what. Anyway, so let's go to let's set it to 45. That's like the lowest I ever go with it. I think that's like the default settings for PLA on the K1, which is funny because it's lower than generally factory recommendations for PLA, I think. But alright, so here we go. A little cooler in the center, interestingly enough. And he said he was curious if it would be cooler around the perimeter. I think he said, I'm trying to think of who the gentleman was. Definitely active on my channel a bunch of times, and I can't recall his name off the top of my head. I apologize, Mr. Mystery Mister. Alright, so the corners seem to be a couple degrees ahead of the center, and or the far left and the near right. And the far right seems to be a little cooler, but not by much. I mean, like not even a degree according to this scale here. And so it's like I said, it's set to 45. It thinks it's at 43, and I'm showing 48, 46, 47 across the diagonal. Interestingly, that the hotspot there, I think that's just the light. I think that's a trick of the. I'm going to turn off the light and see if that temperature. I think that's a reflection, because I'm looking at the lead screw bearing, the nut block, whatever you want to call it, and there's a reflection on it. And I think that's all that is. So let me turn. Where's the light? There we go. So if I turn that off. Nope, still really hot. So it wasn't the light. Interesting. That's strange that that's so hot right there. I just tried to put my hand through the glass to reach that. It doesn't really feel. Huh? Tough to say. It's not hot. It doesn't really feel warm. All right, so that's we'll just let it go equilibrium here. All right, looks very uniform. In fact, 45.7, 45.7, 44.7, 44.8. Okay, so interestingly, now this near right corner is lagging by about 1 degree. I can't imagine that one. So the original point, and forgive me if I get it wrong here. Oh, that's the motor. Okay, that's off to the right. I was thinking that was center. That's the motor for the Z-axis, I guess. It must be the Z-axis. Yeah, that's in the motor left. It's got to be for the Z-axis. Okay. Hot motor. I can't read that. You'll be able to read it on the video, because the numbers show up a lot clearer on the actual recording. But on my phone, it's tricky to read the numbers here, because it's like white on white on the hotspot. But alright, so this is equilibrium basically, and we are within a degree all the way across. I can't imagine within a degree all the way across is going to give you any difference. Let's go to the other corners. You know, a degree cooler way in the corners, but you know, on the front and rear, so that's all very close. So the corners seem to be a little bit like a degree cooler in the corners, which, I mean, this is more uniform than I was expecting. Really, that's pretty uniform. That's not bad. Let's up the old temperature at 45. Let's go to 70. Okie doke. A little back to the corners here. Did I, it's going a little slower than I expected. Man's getting tired holding this stupid thing. Okay, it's pretty uniform. Actually, it looks pretty warm over on the left there. That's interesting. What, 55, 56. Looks like it's about 2 degrees hotter on the right side. I'm sorry, on the left side. And on the right side is also warmer. And cooler in the center. So that's interesting. And now we're surpassing the temperature of that motor over there. So... interesting though that it was so uniform once it got up to temperature. So it seemed to be like 65, so 2 or 3 degrees lagging to the center. 63 versus 65 plus, yeah, about 2 degrees. And like I said, on the left here, '70s, 68. I mean, it's still it's only like 2 degrees difference. So that scale, it's tricky. You have to be careful how you infer the temperatures based on the color scale, because the color scale changes based on the temperatures on the shot. So so white isn't always 60 degrees or whatever. And we are basically we're 69 to 70. Okay, now we're at 70. I expect it'll all come in line. So 72, 70. It's a couple degrees off still. Alright, so that's interesting though. On the left, I didn't notice that on the lower temperatures. Maybe I'll have to check that in the replay. It's weird that the left is warmer than the rest. Is it going to equalize? So the question was, from the questioner, was, is it cooler around the edges? And I'm saying no. And it's not even really much hotter. I can't imagine a degree or two is going to make a difference, because the original question came up. He said he was having adhesion issues if he printed in the center of the bed. If he didn't have adhesion issues. Rented tongue today. Another one was an accident. Anyway, so he was saying around the perimeter he was having adhesion issues, but not in the center. I should have asked some more questions. Could have been just a typical warping. Could have been just needs the bed cleaned. But I was just following up on his request. So it's all still within like 1 degree. So let's just go up to 100. Let's see if it makes it there. Oops. And I say that because a couple times when I was trying to print, well, when I was printing polycarbonate, sometimes I was trying to print polycarbonate, sometimes I was successfully printing polycarbonate. There was a couple times where it wouldn't go past like 87. It was a very specific number, and so I took it apart, wiggled things around a little bit, put it back together, and it's been fine ever since. So, not sure what the deal was. So I should be able to get up to 100. So we're at 77. So we're only lagging by like a degree and a half from the hottest to the coolest, assuming the center is the coolest. And by the colors, I'm saying the center is the coolest. Although this corner up here might be the coolest. So we're at 81. Oops. Oh, that's nice. I can't see the number. 79 to 80. 85 in a second. 85 and 81. Alright, 4 degrees difference from that hot spot to the far right corner. But again, I expect that's going to equalize. That's interesting that that left side is so much warmer. I mean, it's not that much warmer. It's a few degrees. But it's definitely obvious here. I did a similar video recently with my griddle. It was actually really helpful to me because I knew that stuff doesn't cook as well on the front edge portion and somewhat on the rear edge portion, but I couldn't really be sure exactly what was going on. And so then I checked it with this Flir camera, and it turned out that there was sort of like there's a much wider region in the front than in the rear that is significantly cooler, like a lot cooler than the rest of it. And there's also sort of two triangles, or four triangles I should say, but bigger in the front, where it heats up more slowly also. So it's useful information for me. Now I understand how my grill heats much better, and I've actually adjusted my cooking technique a little bit based on the outcome from that video. So good stuff. Alright, we're at 96 on the indicator, on the display. 99 there, 93 there. So plus or minus 3 degrees at this point on the display. Although in the center is basically matching the display, the center of the bed. 99. 99. Okay, we're at 100. So let's see how it equalizes out. Anyways, if you find this interesting, it'll get a lot of views, and it seems like we get more thumbs up if people watch and stuff. So consider hitting a thumbs up, and maybe consider subscribing and sharing with your social media that's interested in this type of stuff. And yeah. So okay, the LCD went down to 99, back up to 100. That far corner stuck at like 96. That's interesting. 99 in the center and 100 on the left. So interesting to see where the thermistor is actually at. Theoretically, maybe, they could do more than one thermistor and then average them, but I doubt it. That would just add cost and complexity and potential for error and mistakes and failure, I should say. Wow, that far right corner isn't getting past 95. That's interesting. Center is at 100. The left is at 100. Let's see over here. Okay, if you go to 100, then it is looking like his suspicion is correct. But at like 45 and 70, if I recall correctly, they were quite uniform. But definitely a little bit of a difference here. And so now that I see this, so again, Flir camera almost paying for itself, even though it's not making me a nickel. It cost me $500. But other than that, it's paying for itself, sort of, kind of, but not really. But at least now I know if I'm going to print polycarbonate, and it's not, if it's a quarter size of the, if I could put it on the left side, put it on the left side. It's literally 5 degrees warmer. All right, so so now in the front left is 98, front right is 97, rear right is 90. 95 and a half. So that far right corner is like 5 degrees cooler, and the other two corners are couple 3 degrees cooler. Far left corner looks to be 100. Oops. I rotated as I drove. Nice. The phone shifted. The phone. It's interesting because this thing is a remote. I mean, this is. Here's the phone. Here's the Flir looking at the phone. Like it pops off. It clips to the phone, but it connects all by Wi-Fi. What am I? I'm confused. I'm confused myself, and I'm holding it. So this is the phone showing. Oh, can you see the target spots bouncing around on the phone screen? That's interesting to me, that it actually sees that. But I don't think it's seeing that necessarily in the infrared. It's also tracing the image of the phone. It sort of ghosts the stuff in. But anyway, all right, the mosquitoes found me. And so I'm going to call this about a video. And let's just give it one more quick look as it, oops, I don't like that it's rotating while I'm recording. I hope I'm recording. I think I'm recording. Well, anyway, it's rotated now. But, so anyway, that's the info. And hope you enjoyed it. And consider hitting a thumbs up. Appreciate it. And thanks for watching. Stay tuned and tune into the next one. See you then. Bye-bye.